You are listening to the In Between Sales Calls podcast with Derek Shebby, episode 30. Welcome, everyone. Episode 30. That represents 30 straight weeks doing In Between Sales Calls. I started it in February of 2020, and here we are, almost finishing August, 7.5 months later. Man, time flies. It's been fun so far, so thank you for joining me along the way. Now, I'd love to hear feedback. I'd love to hear your feedback. Yes, you, the one that's listening to this right now. Trust me, I want to hear from you. What have you enjoyed? What do you want to hear more of? Let me know. And I'd love a review if you feel like I've deserved one. Let's get on to today's episode. One of the most challenging things to do in sales is to get into the mind of our client, to truly understand our customer, to think like a customer, to relate to the customer. I mean, you hear the statement out there over and over again, it's not about you. It's not about what you sell. It's all about the customer and how you can help them to get to where they want to go. But why is this such a constant reminder that we hear all the time? Because it's really hard. It could take you years to learn how to ask the right question. You know, those questions where the customer shares insightful information on what they're trying to accomplish, where you see all of these pros out there teaching, oh, you got to follow my method. That's the way you get the right questions asked. That's the way you find the opportunity in the account. Well, look, the irony here is we best understand our customers when we're new, when we're rookies. It's because at that moment, we don't know what we sell. Our mind isn't clouded with features. We don't feel like we have to show expertise and product knowledge. It's then that we could really understand what the customer's going through because we're curious. That's when we genuinely ask questions about the customer and what they're doing. And we make sure to throw in there, hey, if I don't know the answer, I know people that I work with that do, so I'll get right back to you. But listen, we're observant when we're new. We look for any place that we can see interest, even though we don't know what to ask. Sometimes the customer notices it, and they can tell when we have genuine interest in their business and in them. In many cases, this is where the customer feels like they can teach us. They can teach us about their business. They could educate us on what their business does and how they help their customers. Now, you could be there saying, but Derek, customers are insulted if you don't know what they do. Yeah, okay. There's truth to that for sure. But if they see that you're genuinely curious about them, they're going to be more forgiving. One of the best advice I received when I was new in my sales career was to interview my current customers. I mean, think about it. What's a better way to learn than to ask the people, the companies, who look at your organization right now as safe? You're not trying to sell them anything. They already work with you. If you talk to those people, they want to help you. You just need to ask. I remember carefully choosing customers that were in different industries. Churches, CPAs, marketing and advertising companies, law firms, higher education, public sector. Those are just to name a few. It all happened the same, though. I'd visit them during account reviews, and I'd go in there with the goal of trying to really understand what they do and what they care about. That increased my business acumen over the years and familiarity with their operations. Saved me a whole lot of time later. If you haven't done that yet, I recommend start scheduling that into your calendar to make sure you're learning more about the people you actually sell to and how your offerings help them. Today's success habit, though, is to get in the car with your customer. To really understand this success habit, I want you to think back to your Uber or Lyft rides that you've been on. Heck, think back to when you were in the back seat on a long car ride where someone else was driving. Better yet, think about a road trip with all of your friends or family, and each of you had to decide who to ride with and where you could sit. Where were the best conversations had? Well, with the driver and the person sitting in the front, right? The person sitting in the front seat and the driver had all the good conversation. Everyone else just had to observe and try to chime in. The driver usually has the preference of whom they want to sit next to them on these drives because that's who they want to chat with. Now, how are those conversations on that long car ride? Deep, serious, meaningful? Not to sound cheesy, but yes. There's trust built in these conversations. Honesty. Your goal is to reach that same level of trust with your customers. Your conversation should be about them, about what they're trying to do, about what they're trying to avoid, about what they're trying to learn. How can you be someone who earns that trust? How can you earn the right to get in the car with your customer? Well, it's all about how they view your expertise. Do you think your customers look at you and say, I could really learn something from this person? This person could really help me with the challenge that we're having. I would really want to hear their thoughts on what we could do to improve our business. Because that's who they want sitting next to them on their car ride. That's the person they want to share their destination with, their goals. That's the person they want to ask if they know the best route to take on that journey. That's the person they want to strategize with on challenges they could face on the road. That's the one that will become a true valued business partner of theirs. That's the one they want in their car. So ask yourself this question before your next client interaction, which could be a prospecting touch, a first appointment or account review or a consultation, a demo, a proposal, or just a check-in. Do you look like that person? Do you sound like that person? Do you bring value like that person? If you do, then you're on the path to being a consistent top sales performer. But if you don't, then take the time you need to become that someone your client will cherish meeting with. And when you do, you'll be amazed at how much more you'll be able to help your client do better business when you're sitting right next to them in the front on their car ride. That's it for today's episode. Thank you for allowing me to join you on your sales journey. See you next time. Hey, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, then you have to come check out our free Top Performer Academy course. Inside it, I'll give you 12 sales tips that only the best salespeople do on a daily basis. Tips ranging from cold calling to running effective appointments, handling objections, and creating urgency in your deals. You can get it 100% free at www.modernSalesTraining.com/free. That's modernSalesTraining.com/free. These 12 tips could be the difference between you having a good month or an incredible one. I hope to see you there.